About 2 weeks ago, after a series of strenuous and difficult times in our relationship, particularly revolving around sex, my wife decided she wanted to try an open relationship. It is important to know. First, my wife has had consistent fidelity issues. She claims or thinks she either a mild nymphomaniac or just hypersexual. She said in verbatim words, "It's not you, you're great. I just don't think one man will ever really fully satisfy me sexually." At first I was absolutely appalled. However, I tried to keep an open mind as we thought it out over the next few days. At first, when I agreed, it was conditional. There were a certain amount of rules. No one from our past, as to avoid redevelopment of intimacy. No one in our car or home or space we share together as a couple. Don't make the other person or our son suffer via schedule to make time for other individuals, i.e. family is still first. Don't ask, don't tell. Don't lie to me if I ask, but for the most part let's mind our own business. Make sure your new friends understand their place in the world because you told them up front your intentions and where they stand within that structure. I shouldn't have to defend mine or her honor. That I absolutely wouldn't accept her going home with men she met at the strip club she works for. Oh yeah, she's an exotic dancer. After a while I came to realize that with the exception of a few parts, the rules were counterintuitive and kind of irrelevant. What difference does it make if she sleeps with someone from her past versus some new guy? Is it really better or worse for her to have sex only once per person and therefore skyrocket her body count, or if she had repeated sex with the same few individuals, which could potentially lead to the development of emotional ties to said man? It doesn't really matter. So I told her that other than things based on courtesy, i.e., don't have sex at our house or in spaces we utilize as a family, or take a shower/brush your teeth post-intercourse and before you cuddle or kiss me or my son, the rules seem to be a moot point. A day later she comes home 2.5 hours after she got off from work. Like I said, don't ask, don't tell. So I left myself to my assumptions. The next morning we were having casual conversation about whatever. She looks up and says she did it and how she feels so guilty even if she was allowed, and whole lot more following those lines. I ask if she wants to stop this open relationship. She didn't speak at all. The look on her face said, part of me does, part of me doesn't. To be completely honest, the vibe I got was how much she realized what she was going to feel if I had sex with another woman, but that she was reluctant to strip her own rights to extramarital intercourse. In order to try and extract her true sentiments or intentions, I boiled down my question. Why don't you want the open relationship? She responded, I don't want you to have sex with another girl. I felt this guilty over me doing it, so I know how it will be when you do, for me and you. Mind you, she has cheated on me several times, although not always intercourse. She claims never intercourse because I've never been able to prove that, but I've proven oral sex, for example. So there is complete reason to assume this is not her first extramarital intercourse. Okay, I said, so why do you want an open relationship? She responded, because I feel like I can't mess up, that I can't lose you over cheating on you again because I will more than likely fuck it up again, and get this, and because I feel as though you want it or that it isn't fair. No kidding. Now keep in mind I haven't had sex with anyone. This seems unfair to me. Not necessarily due to the eye for an eye mentality, but because she experienced it immediately and wants to call it off before I've even had a chance to try. I went into this with an open mind despite my initial feelings. Now I've allowed another man to have sex with my wife and she's telling me she doesn't want it anymore? Seems hardly fair. From my perspective, she got a get out of jail free card and wants to cut mine up before I can do anything. In response to her 2 questions, I told her I was going to need time to think about how I feel about the situation and what I wanted to do about it. I am obviously having many of the thoughts you all are posting here. No, I am not oblivious to my fuckery here. Never have been. I've tried to be slow and patient and loving to my wife the last 3 years based on a few moral principles of mine. I made a commitment, and why I understand she did as well, but broke hers, and I cannot control how others keep their word. However, I can control how I keep mine. Also, she struggles with very legitimate and clinically recognized depression and anxiety. Not to say these have served as an excuse or a buy for her, but then again my patience has been taken for foolery and therefore, yeah, they kind of have been an excuse. In the midst of struggling with my emotions between my moral compass, my disgusting marriage, and my somehow surprisingly successful parenthood, believe or not, yes, her included, I decided to post here and more or less confirm my thoughts. Tonight as she headed out for work, She basically said that I needed to have my decision for her by the next time we spoke, whether that mean I stay up for her to get home, or if I wait and speak to her when she gets up mid-afternoon tomorrow. This kind of tells me she wants me to leave. I know how much she's going to suffer when I do because believe it or not, you'd have to be there to know, it's actually pretty apparent she loves me and our family. Unfortunately for her, she is a chronic cheater and lacks self-control. Anyway, she says her anxiety can't handle being left on this unknown status. However, she also says she isn't willing to continue the open relationship, so that if I choose that, then default I am leaving her. So I have two choices here, and I don't believe she wants me to leave, but I do believe she wants to get it over with one way or the other. I just found it funny that even after all this she managed to find one last way to manipulate the final moments to be on her terms. It makes me pseudo-sad for her because I don't even know if she realizes she's doing it at this point. I feel it may be important for context reasons to include that she utilized Tinder to test this open relationship. It has been several years now and many of you have reached out to me in support. I want to thank all of you that did. Things did eventually work out. I left her not long after these events for pretty obvious reasons. I filed for divorce. And although the divorce was a 2-year-long escapade with many small caveats throughout that time, in the end I was granted full custody of my son, and the marriage was absolved. Thank you again for those of you who reached out in support. I cannot thank you enough, and although my life continues to have its challenges, I am no longer in that toxic poisonous situation. I am Majid 2006, thank you for watching the video till the end. Now, if you want to be successful in romantic relationships and know more, subscribe to my channel. I made many tutorials for you. I will kiss you, my dear.